Santa Maria, Maya, Santamaria, one word.
Perfect.
Hmm.
And what business is it?
I currently own La Raza radio station, which is Santa Maria Broadcasting. That's KMNV and KMNQ, 95.7 FM and 1400 AM.
And were any of your businesses damaged during this?
Yes, and I previously was the owner of El Nuevo Rodeo, and that was my capacity in which I had um, been working with Chauvin and George Floyd, and that was a business that I sold just in the beginning of the year. And those storefronts were all damaged today. We were the only business, the radio station was the only business in the building that didn't get directly looted because we're on the fourth floor and no one made it up that far. But first floor, all of the businesses were looted. Second floor and third floor were all damaged.
And when the news was breaking and you're seeing these names come up, what was your reaction? What like, 'cause you had some experience with these guys.
I got a message on Messenger on Facebook from a girlfriend of mine who knew Chauvin um, as a friend of mine. She was at my club a lot and had a lot of interaction with Chauvin as someone who I would talk to a lot during the course of the night. So she got to know him. And she sent me that clip. And in the beginning, my reaction was, that can't be him. He kind of had a different beard, goatee thing going on that didn't look like him in the beginning. But then when they came close and they did the close up, when the cameragrapher that took that video kind of got a different angle, then I realized, oh my God, that is him. And I couldn't believe that he was doing that for so long to the poor gentleman. I did not recognize George at all. I see a person with half of his face smashed against the cement. I didn't know who it was. I just kept yelling at my phone, Chauvin, just get up, let him go. What are I couldn't believe it. These officers, they go into this zone. It's the best way I can describe it. They go into a zone where they just don't see any reason. They don't, you know, they don't have any reason. They lose it. And Chauvin was one of those people that I saw lose it on various occasions.
What kind of things would happen?
When he was feeling powerful and that his power could impose upon a person that he had under his custody, he would sometimes push too far. He would go too far. And there were many times when I expressed to him the fact that I didn't think that he was okay with what he did. And he always had an excuse, to defend himself. But, there's no need to abuse that power. And he was one of those little guys that liked to feel bigger than he was.
So, how in what capacity did you know him?
He worked for me. He was a off-duty police officer through the 3rd Precinct that gave us the service of police presence during the nights that our nightclub was open. For 17 years, I worked with himself and another officer, and they would organize the off-duty police staff that would be working with us, recruit them, and bring them in to do the job.
Okay, and so what were his duties then when he was working as an off-duty officer at your club?
He would stay outside predominantly. In Minnesota, we don't have off-duty cops inside the clubs. So he would patrol in his patrol car and go around the area and make sure that people coming in and out of the club were safe, that they weren't being mugged, and that their cars were not being, broken into and things like that. And then when there was an altercation, if there was someone that we needed, that our security staff, our internal security staff needed to hand over to the police, he was there. So we didn't have to call 911 or anything like that. We had our own police officer there to interact with and do any kind of arrests or apprehensions that needed to happen on the side of the police.
And how long did he do that for?
I'd say a good 16 years.
When did it stop? When did it begin and when did it end?
Well, I don't know the exact day he started, but it was the very beginning of when the nightclub really started going. And then it may have been New Year's Eve or right around that time that was kind of the club was slowing down and we were transitioning and selling it, and we stopped having off-duty police officers during that transition.
Was there, and you said Floyd
Yeah. No, this is a coincidence, right? George would sometimes come and work during the week when we had our twerk fest Tuesdays, and it was an urban night. And we liked to have our security either be black, preferably, or very known and well versed in working with the urban community in nights, because it was a night that could get a little bit rough. And so we drew from other nightclubs that had good security agents that worked on the weekend, and we would recruit them for our Tuesday nights, and George was one of them.
But to your knowledge, they've never had any interaction. Or...
To my knowledge, no. I mean, they may have walked by each other on their way to the office to get paid or something like that, but I certainly don't want to misconstrue it that they had some kind of beef or even a friendship for that matter. I don't think that they recognized each other that day. I only was thinking that maybe if he had been able to say, "Man, don't I know you from the rodeo? I work for Maya," that maybe something would have clicked in Chauvin's head, and some kind of reason what might have come in, to his brain. But I don't know what he was thinking. He just went too far.
And again, like, Chauvin was the guy who's actually doing that.
Chauvin was the guy who actually killed Floyd.
So when did it click that you knew what?
It wasn't until I started seeing the pictures of George online and realized what he looked like in regular life. And I was sitting near one of my DJs from the club, and we went, "Oh wait, he used to work our Tuesday nights." And then it all came back, and I remember him saying, "Hey, boss lady," and being real nice to me, and just being real respectful and super charismatic and really nice guy, and smile on his face, said hi to everybody. So he was well loved in the Latino community. Chauvin was well known. I don't know if he was loved. I think that I got a lot of complaints here and there throughout the years from our clientele of El Nuevo Rodeo that he had used excessive force. A lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people did, but a lot of people didn't like him.
Did you have much interaction with him?
I did. We spoke every night he worked, just about.
Ever have any problems?
I personally never had any problems with him. We had a really good rapport, but it was a professional relationship. I don't think he picks fights with women that, he's on their payroll.